Okay, so this presentation is for Unit 22, Single Camera Techniques, and my name is Miriam Ali. Okay, so let's just get started. What is single camera technique? Single camera technique is a method of filming, and productions such as dramas, comedies, and documentaries utilize this technique when filming. This shows one camera angle throughout the production, and single camera technique refers to the perspective rather than the actual physical cameras itself. So one format that utilizes single camera production is a soap opera. A soap opera is an ongoing drama serial and generally revolves around the lives of many characters and the relationships that are present or created. Usually in soaps, no single storyline will be the dominant, and storylines can carry on for weeks until they become resolved. Particularly in dramas, there is an emphasis on dialogue as opposed to action. The narrative structure of a soap opera is linear, meaning that it follows a chronological order. Although soap operas have a narrative and plot, within that there are micronarratives. A micronarrative is a story that happens within a story, and this is often seen in soap operas as they generally revolve around different families, and they have their own stories that are being told. With soaps, we often see that the endings are both open and closed, because when one story concludes, another begins, and often at the end of episodes we are left with cliffhangers to keep the audience in anticipation for the next episode to come. Coronation Street is a British TV soap that has been running for nearly 59 years. It follows a realist narrative and it's based in a real world. Coronation Street is a soap opera that has a family-orientated storyline, and this is something that is often seen within soaps. They are about the community, and so this is why we often see settings of soaps being in places where lots of people visit. For example, we have the Rovers Return, which is a pub, and Dev's Corner Shop. It's at these places where people meet and exchange conversations, and a lot of the time drama is created at those locations. When the location is in a house, this is known as a closed sphere, and then when the location is in a public space in the community, then this is known as an open sphere, because everybody's surrounding. Although soaps are orientated around the idea of community, it's not always a harmonious relationship. If everyone were to get on, then there would be no conflict, and no soap would be entertaining if there was no conflict. The community will only come together for big milestones such as weddings and funerals. So, dramas revolve around the controlling of information, and there is an assertion of power through the knowledge. Controlling information can lead to situations where issues like blackmail arise, and it's in these situations where conflict can occur. An example where information was being controlled was when Sally exposed Imran, who was seeing sisters Leanne and Toya at the same time. Sally was the one to tell both of the sisters that Imran was actually seeing both of them. This control of information led to Imran being exposed, and so it makes his once strong character into a weak one, as he is then led on by both sisters who actually know what he's up to. This makes his character appear quite wary and apprehensive as he is trying to avoid getting caught. A weak male is another recurring role seen in soaps. The roles of weak males show them unable to control their emotions. Emotionally weak males act on anger, and this is a way of showing weakness. In Coronation Street, we actually see some other general conventions of characters that you would actually see in other soaps. For example, we have the matriarch. A matriarch is a female who holds a position of power, and she does things for others. So in the show, we have Rita, and Rita actually ended up fostering children. This in itself is someone who wants to do things for others, and therefore makes her a matriarch. The character convention of soaps is the antagonist, and in other words, a bitch. For example, Hannah Gilmore is one to cause a lot of drama and conflicts in the show. Her character is part of an elaborate scheme in which she is posing as Katie MacDonald, the daughter of Liz and Jim MacDonald, who actually died in hospital. Hannah is just trying to scam Liz out of money with help from her fake dad and lover Jim. She actually resorts to blackmail as well, so this goes back to the whole controlling of information and how it can cause conflict. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about some of the technical aspects when it comes to creating a soap or when it comes to editing. So one of the most common editing transitions, I would say, is the crosscut, and they are mostly used in linear narratives, and they're used to cut between storylines. Now, soaps are made up of micronarratives, therefore different storylines within, and so using a crosscut allows us to show different locations where a new story is being told. As for lighting varies from soap to soap, but generally it remains pretty basic. Special effects are not used, and this helps to create realistic light levels and adds to the realism, which just reinforces the idea that it is a realist narrative being told. The camera shows action very much as a casual observer would see it, as if they're watching it from nearby.